Hello, and welcome to Season 11, Episode 7 of the EUphoria podcast. I'm Drakos, joined as always by Caedrel, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. And we're joined today, once again, for the second time this season, by members of SK.
Never happened before.
Yeah, actually, which is crazy, but it's well earned if you saw the previous weekends. But we are joined by none other than Exakick and Markoon. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hello.
Good to have you. How was your off day, or did you get an off day? We're moments away from the end of the season, so I understand if you guys skipped. But like, what have you guys been up to? Victorious, you made top 4. Did you celebrate?
Yeah, I went out, and then my off day was spent being hangover and recovering.
Classic.
I mean, with this new schedule, I think it's good to relax, or at least that's what I tell myself, right?
Yeah.
I actually didn't play League the whole day. Just went shopping.
Sick. Did you buy anything sweet? Are you a clothes guy? Do you like fancy clothes? Right
no,
now, you're in Jersey, so we can't tell what you normally wear.
Not really. I mean, depends, but I already have everything, so I just buy plushies.
You just buy plushies?
And like random things from anime store.
Damn.
Nice.
Wait. Are you...
Yeah.
You're a big anime guy?
You the W word?
Big anime
Yeah.
guy?
I'm a weeb. I'm a weeb.
Oh, shit.
It's nice.
Well, we had a whole ass section of the previous episode to talk about anime, but that's sick that you like anime. Are you My Hero fan?
My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
I didn't watch actually. I am reading One Piece every week. Every
Ooh.
Friday. Well, I watch all the main.
All right, well, if Hansama leaves to NA, G2 are going to be trying to poach you very quickly because Mickey loves One Piece. But aside from anime, no, I'm not. You stay, please.
Actually, I didn't know how we talk. With
Yeah, you can talk to me about
message G2 real quick.
No, I'm not going to be. There's enough poaching allegations flying around anyway. But obviously, you guys have had a fantastic season thus far. You finished 3rd in the regular season, 6-3. You went 2-1 in series to get to playoffs. All your series were 2-0, so 4-2, not bad. Your top 4, that's crazy. Because when we looked at this roster, Phil, if you want to throw up the embarrassing tier list graphic, again, just to remind people how insane this split has been, we didn't have high expectations, boys.
Yep.
Very disappointing, yeah.
We weren't sold.
Did you guys think you were a top 4 team before the split started?
I think during the bootcamp, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, before I was still a bit unsure how people are going to adjust because the rookies, right? But I think after like first 2 weeks of bootcamp, I was pretty sure we could make top 4 at least.
Were you worried about the experience?
Yeah, I mean, you never know how people react, right? To more pressure, so.
Yeah.
So why did, and I'm sure you both have your own story for this, but why did you guys choose to go to SK? Because I think that, no shade to the org is super professional, but in terms of track record for success, in my experience, players are always going to go towards orgs that are more successful. So like, why SK for both of you? Because you were a promising young talent, and as far as I could understand, there were a lot of teams interested in bringing you in. And similarly for you, Markoon, you had a good year on Excel's best year. So I assume you guys had options. Why did you pick SK? Like, what is it that brought you both to SK in the end? What motivated you to join the team? And whichever one of you wants to start can start.
You want to start?
Sure. I mean, for me, I had a few options. I didn't have too many options in the off season, and then I knew that coaching staff already from when I worked in BTXL, and I really liked the way Swiffer coached. So for me, SK had like a big plus in my mind that I knew that coaching staff was going to be good. And for me, it's very hard to judge coaches, right? So I didn't really want to go into a completely new coaching staff that I wasn't sure how they're going to work and if it's going to be nice. So just because I knew Swiffer, SK was already pretty high up in my mind, and I knew that they were gonna rebuild like most of their roster, so it sounded pretty good.
For you?
For me, it was when I looked at the players, I wanted players that want to win.
Yeah.
And like that didn't get like big ego, that I could like give feedbacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And also, when I looked at Celsius, he's like playing 20 solo queues a day. Mark had a great year in Excel, and he was still young, kinda. And
Kinda.
And like,
he's kind of old, but like
how old are you?
old
I'm 20.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I mean, from the options I had, right? And Joel was considered as one of the best tops in LEC when he was in Misfits, and I had the choice for my support, and I wanted to play with Doss, and the other orgs were kind of. They already had either sup-locked or not liking Doss too much because of solo queue, right? And then I looked at The Office, and it was really nice.
The Office was nice?
Wait, The Office sold you?
Yeah, I mean, not only The Office, but like...
He's like, look, man, If any other team had shown me an office this nice, like I would have been there in a heartbeat.
I mean, there was gym in the office. There was chef. I think this, how do you say, like the apartments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was very nice. The only thing was like I was like, shuttle. I have to go wake up at this hour. I was like, but then it was fine. And obviously, it was my most paid offer as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
sick.
So I was like, yeah, there is everything, and I think everyone was just very good at what they are doing.
Yeah. And
So
I think from my perspective, the facilities thing is cool. And obviously that matters because you guys, this is like where you're going to spend the vast majority of your time. But it's cool to hear like the other things that you value about like playing with players who are very clearly grinders, playing with players who aren't going to have those egos, probably where you can contribute the most. And I mean, it's worked out super well. What do you feel like the biggest differences are in environments for both of you? Because you came from like LFL, I assume gaming house. I don't really know.
It
like,
was the same office and apartment.
office and apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in LDLC in like 2018, they had like
You
this
were on
There was
LDLC?
gaming house before, but then
Yeah.
they did office apartment.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
nice. Okay, they swapped. Yeah, it was
It's good.
times.
And then for you, Markoon, what's like the biggest transition from the Excel environment, which had a lot of more established? You were kind of the baby on Excel.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think it's kind of similar in terms of social. I think in Excel we also really liked each other. I think we vibed well, and that's also what I noticed in this team, that everyone actually likes each other and is all friends. In differences, I mean, I think in Excel we stayed a bit longer with each other and we did a little bit more. Like I was watching a lot of anime with Mickey and Finn, and we did more stuff together, I would say.
Yeah.
But still, I think the vibes are good. That I don't really mind it.
Didn't you guys all live in the same like apartment building though? Couldn't you all, in
Yeah,
theory, still hang out
But
and
it's
watch
like
anime?
it's like different rooms, and sometimes we do.
Yeah.
They have like a little lounge area that we sometimes watch like LEC games in, but
Yeah.
not too much.
I remember I visited the Excel house a few times because I was doing content, and I walk into the gaming room with all the PCs, and they're all there just playing like Hearthstone, all next to each other. These PCs just like back to back in these massive Hearthstone games against each other.
Yeah.
So they were playing like loads of games together and like hanging out. And I think in like an open space, it's easier to like interact rather than
It's kind of no pressure. Just
my
sounds
apartment.
chill. It's
Yeah.
much less formal than, hey, bro, do you want to hang out?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I really liked. It's like everyone just wanted to stay off the scrims and vibe in the gaming room. And I mean, now, no shade, but like people like to have a little bit more alone time, which is like fine. But my preference is like when the team stays together a bit more.
It sounds like you guys are finding a pretty good balance and you're showing it's looking good thus far. And glad to hear the facilities are to your liking, Mr. Exakick. That
I mean, there is massage seats, so.
Oh,
No,
that's what salt is,
I mean,
man.
actually- man, it
was
I
that.
really like
Just real quick, did your manager pay you before you came on the podcast to just list? Is there a recruiting effort?
This
Are
is
you
an
guys
ad.
joining a new esport that they need people to know about? Like you buying a Valorant team or something that they're just trying to like advertise for? But no, really, it's cool that you like it so much. I guess the big thing for me is, Markoon, you were more of a known quality. Like we saw what you could do on Excel. It was easy to kind of imagine how you would fit in. I think anytime a player comes up from the LFL, it's hard to know how you're going to work. And like you and Doss obviously had history together and were pretty successful in the LFL, but
Yeah, but it was not the same. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was not the same kind of success. We
Yeah.
were kind of led by Aka in LDSC. He
Yeah.
was kind of carrying the comms and stuff. And here in SK, we had the chance with our coaching staff to actually get like an opinion on
Mhm.
how we want to play. And I was able to shortcut like kind of the waves, like how I want to play the game. And I think it's like different kind of success then, because it was not the same way of playing.
yeah.
In LDSC, I was more like not talking and just listening
Yeah.
and just doing my things. And now
Yeah.
I'm actually like not leading the team, but I think it's like mostly like Mark and Doss and Certus in mid game. But
Yeah.
I'm actually having like opinions and
You
like,
get to contribute.
Yeah.
I think Aka actually, just small tangent, I think that guy's actually really good. He got a bit done dirty by like an NA stint, but in
Yeah.
ERLs, he's always pretty top tier in his teams. And when I played with him as well, he was like really vocal. And it's so easy
Yeah.
to just turn your brain off when
yeah.
someone's so...
But this guy is like 1v9 like outside of the rifts as well. Like he's so nice.
Yeah.
It's actually like that's why the mood was so insane in LDLC.
Mhm.
Because just AK is like super nice, and I think that's what I tried to bring in SK.
Yeah.
With Doss, because I knew how we behave with each other, and I'm just trolling around perma with Doss in the office in draft. Like you can hear in the voice comms, I guess, on stage, we are just trolling in draft perma, and
What
I
do you
think
mean?
I mean just like You know?
Yeah, we're lucky to have Swiffer and that he can handle it. I feel a bit bad for him sometimes. Trying his hardest not to screw up the draft. You're like,
they're saying some crazy picks, and you're like, guys, just chill.
No, not like that, but just making jokes, perma,
okay.
and it just makes the mood so light, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the most important in the team. Because if it's like too strict, I think there is too much pressure.
True, especially when you look at orgs, especially that have a lot of expectations too.
Ooh,
I think
word.
That's why I joined this as well.
Yeah.
Expectations.
There is no expectation. There was less expectations than other teams. I was not pressured. I was actually, when I came into the split, I was like, top 7, top 8 would be nice, and then
here you are, top 4.
Top 4.
Yeah, I guess for me, when did you like? You guys were again solid in LFL. When did you?
Markoon just
that's
looked
a
at
bit
him like,
sus. Top 7, top 8. That's a bit low for my mind.
I was not that good.
Again, as far as I can tell, you were also skeptical until these first few weeks of scrims, and that's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, but I was not fine with a top 7 or top 8. I would have been really disappointed if that was my season.
Well, then it's good that you are where you are now,
true.
because that would have been a really awkward conversation when you guys walk off after getting eliminated top 8, and your AD carry's like, not bad, guys. Good job.
just there crying in his hands like, what have I done?
I think we did all right. Goal achieved. That's so funny to me. But when did you, like, it feels to me like you guys got really good really fast, you and Doss specifically in lane, because you were a more aggressive lane, I think, all things considered, in LFL. But I did not expect you to 2v2 kill kind of established and practiced LEC lanes right off the bat. Like, when/how? Were you always this good? Am I sleeping on LFL bot lanes? Like, how did you get good?
I mean, you can ask Mark, right? Because I don't want to be that guy, but just asking if I improved. I don't know.
Hey, Mark, what was he like in the first scrims?
I remember G2 scrims at the start of bootcamp were completely unplayable because my bot lane was dead. Level 1 or 2 every single game. It was completely unplayable. But I think one big attribute that my bot lane has, that they're able to improve very fast, and that together with like my assistant coach, who is very good at, I think, like bot lane micro, caused them to improve very, very fast. And yeah, it's been very cool to see, actually.
Yeah.
So the coach just like running through bot lanes with you guys constantly.
I mean, I did not see my assistant coach for like a month. He was just sitting on the right side of me, like behind my bot lane the entire day.
In draft, it's like Swiffer with the top side and David with us on the right side.
Yeah.
That's it.
Who is this guy? Who is your assistant coach?
It's called Owner. He was
T1 jungler.
T1
Yeah,
I can see it. That's why you're so good. Yeah. Got it.
No, he's like Owner. I think he was in Mad Lions.
Yeah, I think he was Mad Lions
Academy.
last year. He relegated in Spain. And then
got LEC.
Yeah,
Really?
I think
Bro, what?
Swiffer
SK has like the weirdest stories ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, your roster makes a lot of sense to me in terms of, like, I think people saw Relevant being really good. They saw you were good. Like, that all makes sense. You guys were a bit of a wild card for me, but I knew that a lot of people were excited to pick you up. But then, like, Swiffer from BTXL would seem like a random pickup to a lot of people. And then Owner, who was relegated on Mad Lions, and then he's your assistant coach that's helping you now 2v2 kill LEC bot lanes?
Maybe Swiffer thought he was signing T1's jungler.
Oh,
and then when he arrived,
he was too
like,
embarrassed to say.
And then he did a good job anyway. And he was like, you know what?
You can stay.
I'll slide him.
Or
can we get the owner at home?
Owner at home.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it worked out really well. I don't want you to give away anything too much, you know what I mean? But can you talk a little bit about what the process for improvement was like? Are there any examples of things that he like really helped you guys focus on? Were you just inting before? Like, I just want to understand without giving away too many things. What did he help? What did he teach you?
It's
Do you have
just
examples?
the basics, like how do you use your spells, like everything. The timings, you just watch the waves.
Yep.
You know, like it's just the basics of the game that have always been there, but you don't pay attention to it when you play, when you are like in ERL.
Yep.
But actually, you just try to think, you know, and it makes a lot of sense when you like reason by waves in League. I feel like to play, like everything just not falls apart, but like
comes together.
Comes together, yeah.
So
and every timing, oh my god, 8 minutes. On 8 minutes, I do this with my wave, so I can move to Herald. You know, just.
So every wave has like
a meaning
behind it,
and the play behind it as well. And that's just what we got.
Was there like an epiphany moment? Was there like a big breakthrough moment for you guys where it like all clicked together? Where you were suddenly like, now I see the matrix, like I understand how League of Legends works?
When I got taught about tempo, everything was just So I was like, this game is so cool.
You don't know
actually.
this, but this is like the most cursed word in casting because like it just got overused for years. But I know what you're saying. But it's just so funny that you're like tempo. Tempo is revealed.
Yeah, because it's such like a. It doesn't really have a meaning. It's more like a feeling.
It does have
right?
it does have a meaning. It like has a clear meaning. The problem is it's had a lot of meanings over the years, so people just mess it up a lot.
Yeah, I think from my experience, it's like a feeling, you know, like you feel like you're stronger or you have that extra pace in the game that you can do something. And so sometimes it's hard to like put into words. But did you learn that from playing against LEC teams where you're like,
Yeah.
tempo?
Like
and
when
in
you play
EURLs,
against G2.
tempo didn't exist
Yeah,
because
it doesn't
people just
exist.
played the game.
No, I was not. I felt like I was a complete NPC actually in LDLC.
NPC.
No, I actually use my brain, you know, to play.
Wow.
And when you play against Mad, you play against G2, you feel like you can't play the game because they're always here
Yeah.
and they're always faster.
Yeah.
And then you try to understand why, because you review what they do, and then you're like, oh, they're so good. And when you review T1 or DRX from Worlds, you're like, those guys are crazy.
So it sounds like, Markoon, you were just kind of like sitting there after your like stint in the LEC,
Yeah, it must be so annoying actually.
doing your own thing. And
I was vibing at the start of it.
the whole team around you was just like, it's being fixed
Yeah.
to an acceptable level.
Well, that's where my favorite coaching stuff comes in, you know. I knew they were probably going to improve. I know they were good players. Like, if they have a good base level and they're willing to improve, then I think they can learn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think tempo is that hard.
Yeah.
If someone else tells you what you need to do, and then you finally, like, it finally clicks a little bit, and then you understand it.
Yeah.
It basically comes down to just pressing the B button, to be honest. Like, just stick the base. It's that easy.
I've known you for a while, and everything you do, you just simplify it like, this is the reason. You know, why do we have to overcomplicate all this crap?
You want to go for one extra plate? Go do it, man. But your tempo is not going to be good.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel. Oh my God.
Is that Certus?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Is he the tempo ruiner?
He comes into the review. He already knows what my coaching staff is going to talk about, and he says, Simon, it's really good that I went for this extra plate. Like, it's like picking up 50 euros from the ground. It was that easy. And then he reviews for 5 minutes about it, and it's like, my bad. I should have based.
I shouldn't have picked it up off the floor.
Yeah, my bad.
I mean, to be fair, who resists 50 euros on the ground?
True.
You
But
know
the
what I
50
mean?
euros will always be here. You can pick them up later, you
It's
know.
always on the
The
ground.
plates are always here. You can take them.
But that's why
after.
I guess that's why it's a bad metaphor. Because if it was a correct, like someone else would take the 50 euros. It was 50 euros in real life. The
But you have
plate is
teammates.
always there. Yeah, the
Exakick
teammates
comes in and just takes it from you.
Yeah, Exakick Markoon just rocks up and just one autos your tower and takes the plate. Good tempo, baby.
Absolute Inter.
So you guys had these 6 scrim weeks. Suddenly Markoon believes you can be top 4. You're still happy with top 8, whatever. I'm not here to ask questions, but
I mean, I didn't think we would be top 8, but I was like, fine with top 8.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I thought we were very good. And when I saw the tier list,
yeah.
and I see some teams are so like overrated when
Who?
I see scrims.
Who was it you think that was overrated?
You want to put the tier list back up, Phil, one more time for the people? As if we've not embarrassed ourselves enough?
I don't want to flame, you know.
Yeah,
But
no.
when I saw like Astralis in D, actually I was disappointed because I think they were in scrims like the first weeks they were.
I mean, we don't scrim.
Yeah,
so
that's why.
that's the
And I
issue
knew
we have.
when I saw Fnatic in A, I was like, oh. And even Koi, actually Koi was just not screaming, I think.
Yeah,
They
I
had
think
like a-
because I remember Larson said we're not off season.
Yeah.
Something. So
And
he was trying to
Heretics
make
was
fun of it,
very high rated in my opinion, but they actually improved during the split.
Yeah.
But in scrims they were, I mean, we were like beating them, I would say.
yeah.
And then Mad is just like trolling.
Yeah, Matt just runs it
Mad
down
Man
the
is just
script.
running around.
I wonder if Hillesang joining has just turned their scrims into an absolute like fight fest.
It's just
I mean, I don't want people to take this out of context. I think they are good, but in scrims they just run it.
They are not the
down.
same team,
It's
actually.
annoying.
The thing is, I remember back in the day, and I wonder if it's still the case on Hillesang teams, but UOL, going to their scrim days, it used to be like, all right, we're reviewing this team fight. And they would talk about a team fight for like
Yep.
45
I
I think
minutes.
it's
was there
more
in
about
those days.
Sheepy.
I think it's more about Sheepy as well.
Sheepy likes team fights.
Sheepy is reviewing every micro. I heard
Yeah.
every micro clicks in team fights
He
or in the
likes
game.
his clicks.
In Schalke, we
So
would scrim
bad.
UOL, and it would be
They
a
would
5
take
game
an
block.
hour. They would take an hour
Game
between
1 would
games.
finish. It would be an hour and 10 minutes. You
Yeah.
message him like, guys, no one's responding.
We're still like this, like last split.
It
When
was
we were
horrible.
screaming URL.
And then after 2 games, you just cancel.
Okay, if it's a Sheepy thing, not a Hillesang thing, then maybe that's not the case. But regardless,
Yeah, I think the best teams were definitely Vitality G2. I would say, and then Excel, Fnatic lower, BDS higher, Heretics. I mean,
well,
it's just-
we kind of know now where we went wrong.
Yeah.
We figured it It would have been good to have you here week 1 when we were making the tier list.
Looking back, putting XL and Fnatic in D tier would have been like
unthinkable.
Yeah, I mean,
Unthinkable.
it's on the paper, right? And I would put ourselves as well in C on the paper if you just don't.
Yeah, 'cause
And to be fair, after week 1, I was feeling pretty good about C tier. You guys said you were good in scrims. You said you were ready for top 4. What happened in week 1? Because it was that first game was bad. The second game was a little bit better, but still pretty rough. Like what was going on week 1? Because you got a little bit of stage experience in SKE, so I didn't think it was like a nerves thing. But I'm not sure. What's the story from your guys' perspective?
I'm not even sure at this moment still. Like, I mean, for me personally, I was just playing so bad. I think I just wasn't in the right like mind space or something, but I was just running it down. And I think also we put a lot of pressure on ourselves because we had been winning a lot of scrims, right? So we really wanted to win as well. So then that combined with us playing bad, it just made like game 2 as well like completely unplayable.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, game 1 was just, I think everyone was choking, honestly. And I had caffeine overdose in draft. I wanted to actually throw out.
Wait, how much caffeine?
Wait, how did you, what? Yeah,
I got three espressos before the game and 1 Red Bull.
What?
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Wait, what was the thought brought? You were just like,
I don't know. I was just.
So do you normally have like a little bit of caffeine before
I
you
have
play?
1 Red Bull now.
Okay.
45 minutes before the game.
Okay.
Sugar-free.
So it's timed. It's locked in now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, because we talked about it with our performance coach.
Yep.
That's smurfing as well.
He was like, the 3 espressos, Red Bull, 5 minutes
And
before
I
the game starts.
figured out when I had like, I was hallucinating in my bed the night.
Okay, you were hallucinating in
What the
your
hell?
bed at the same night.
Yeah.
Caffeine addiction is you gotta be careful.
And then I think we had Casadin as well on mid. When I think this champ is.
Was that the game that you had all the caffeine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like, everything's just flying in your head, but Cassin's just sitting there like,
you guys
give me
were
time.
so scared that game. You guys did like
Yeah, we
nothing
didn't
that
play the
entire
game.
game. You just did
that's
nothing
what
the
I'm saying.
entire
Nami
game.
was roaming on mid. Evolution Nami, it was actually crazy this game.
Yeah.
And
We
I
were
think
just joking.
game 2, I was playing Val. I mean, the game 2 early game was nice.
Yeah.
And then we just.
Was that the Kindred game?
I think that's the
Oh,
game
my
where I
top
died
side.
level 3 top, yeah. Good early game, yeah.
Just ran top and died.
I mean, like, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
So-
an unlucky game.
roughly.
So it wasn't like you really had to turn anything around for week 2. It was more like you finally got to show what you had been practicing.
I mean, for me, already game 3, we turned it around.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
I've started before the interviews, but after game 2, we had like a big team talk. Kind of like discuss the problems. Why are we all choking, guys? What's going on? Why are we
Yeah.
all so bad? And then, I mean, like pressure, routine, this kind of stuff came up. We talked about it, we fixed it. And I think already in game 3, we had found solutions that kind of worked for us.
Yeah, you said it before, but I like mentioned talking to each other and thing. But I think teams still don't do it these days.
I mean, I think it's pure coaching stuff. If
It's
your
very
coaching
hard
stuff
to
is
do.
good, it will happen. If your coaching
Just
stuff
like
is not
look-
good enough.
Yeah, looking each other in the eyes and just saying what the hell the problem is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
actually
it's
hard.
not. It's you need a third party to facilitate. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's too
Yeah.
hard. Because you. How could you not have an emotional attachment to how you feel about the game? Like
Yeah.
this is your entire life. How could you not be mad if you feel like someone is inting you? You need
Yeah.
somebody else to be there between the.
For sure, yeah. But I think you need to break down those barriers to fix issues, right?
Yeah, but I think that's why I think like the calling out of coaching staff diff is probably fair because I don't think you can. It would be really hard for me to imagine a situation where just players are stopping.
It's really hard for players between each other to do that and to get
Yeah.
like that actual useful talks because it's
Yeah.
very, very loaded, right? Like everyone's running it
Well,
down,
it
what's
just
going
feels
on.
like a fight, and the only way it works is if someone just concedes.
Yeah, also you're on the same level as well as players. So if you have like a coaching staff that's kind of like above all of this and a bit more outside, I think it helps it a lot.
Yeah. I think teams need to do it more often. And we talk about it every now and then. It's like, we've said it so many times that teams that vibe the best are the ones that play the best, right? And to vibe the best, like holding grudges is the number one crutch to teams, I think.
And I feel like that's been like the theme of this
Yeah.
season of Euphoria. We've talked a lot about like conflict resolution on teams.
Yeah. So you guys have your manager or your coach to sit down.
I mean,
just-
it's coaching staff. I think SK. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we are good players, right? But I think like the coaching staff is probably doing like 60%.
I've never personally.
Wow, 60%.
60 is big. Like,
I mean,
we're
okay, but
boosting,
you're
we're boosting that ego a bit too much now.
You're cheating off, bro.
You know, I was actually like, one day I was like thinking if I had a different manager, and I think it would be after day 2, it would be actually doomed if my manager had no like
Yeah.
Is there
No,
anything?
yeah.
What
not
did the
balls, but
manager
like
do
to like actually make those talks and make us talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we didn't have that, it would be doomed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Was it like
Yeah.
one-on-ones?
No, it was everyone like we have 2 couches.
Yeah.
It was just like when we finish LEC games, we come back to the office or in the catering, we do debrief, and we just had a big debrief about what's wrong, and everyone was just talking.
Yeah.
and giving their feedbacks.
Yeah, but it's also more like that. We do like team exercises. Like we did one like after week 2, I think, where it's like you write down on a piece of paper like 2 things you think your teammates do well, and then 1 negative point, and this kind of stuff to just make people aware of like the bad habits you have. So you can also work on it, and it also relies on the players being like a little bit open-minded, right, and not delusional, so they can take like some criticism.
Not delusional, yeah. I mean, yeah.
It just sounded like you've had bad experiences in the past.
No.
I don't want you to name any names. It just relies on people not being delusional. It's like,
Someone's just like, oh, then this negative thing about me, just starts arguing back.
Am I delusional?
No.
Was it anonymous? This like giving of the notes, or is it like having a name?
No, it's just like a full team. Like you just out there and just say it in front of everybody, right?
Yeah, I think that's sweet. That sounds like a really good structure, and I mean, it's paid off. You guys have had a pretty crazy last week in the LEC. This is the big week for you guys. Obviously, their first best of 3 against Koi was difficult. We'll see if you get the rematch. But this week, 2 series. Let's start with what I'm generously going to call a series of League of Legends, which was your series versus Team Heretics. Because we cast that without you guys in the studio, which sucked. It sucked not to have you there. And again, hearts out to Ruby. Hopefully he's feeling better and everyone on the Team Heretics side is feeling better. But that was the most mechanical mistakes I have seen in a series in a long time. What was going on, guys? Like, that was like all over the place. I'm happy you got the win, but that was... How do you look back at those games?
I mean, after those games, I was so angry. I was not even happy after we won that game. I felt so bad about the way we played. But anyway, 2-0 is a 2-0, so...
On paper, you did great.
I mean, I think it's like office debuff, kinda.
Nah.
I mean, for me personally, like, I had no side tone when I'm playing.
Yeah.
There is no like open space.
Yeah.
I'm like in my scrim area. We don't have the shuttle to the studio that we have when I usually just put my headset and put myself in the zone. I'm in the office all day.
Mm-hmm.
I think
everything felt off for me.
I think we're just playing bad.
And I mean, obviously we play bad, but then I was trying to think why I'm playing that bad.
Yeah.
Especially game 2. And I was like...
And based on what you've said, and maybe this is true for you too, Markoon, but I'm seeing it, hearing it a lot from you, especially Exakick, is you sound like a guy who needs routine to perform optimally. It's like 45, you got your 45-minute Red Bull, you've got your trip to the studio, like you need everything together to get in the zone.
It's so broken. I mean, I discovered it like last year. I was actually it was after there was a LFL days, in Nice, and I just went to Reckless and I was like, yo, can I ask you your routine? And then he sent me the whole thing, and I just did it, and then I became good. So I was like, okay, I just do routine
Shout
now.
out Reckless.
I mean,
routine.
It's actually, I think it's very nice to put yourself in the right mindset.
Yeah.
It's just, you have one thing that's going to be always consistent.
Yeah.
It's the routine that you can do before the games.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And you can control it,
Yeah.
It's actually in your control, so I just do it.
I'm the same way. I like that. Like, I like that a lot. Like, routine definitely for performance on cast is obviously not the same scale as pro play, but like it's the same thing. We have our routine, we have vocal warm-ups, etc., and we always try to be good about the coffee 30 minutes before, same kind of stuff, because when it is that thing that's in your control to make sure you're in the right headspace. Are you a routine guy, Markoon?
I mean, not as much, but I mean, over my career, I figured out my routine as well.
Wait, why are you instantly laughing?
Well, yeah,
because I tear so much on Mark when he's like not sleeping good. Because I feel like he's trolling, like when he comes to scrim, he's like, I slept bad. And
it's like, because we have a shuttle in the morning.
Yeah.
And I can't fall asleep sometimes. Like, I just like, I like to stay up late.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, my brain is like messed up for something. I can't fall asleep sometimes. And then I have to still wake up early for the shuttle to the studio, to the office, I mean. And then, I get a bit grumpy when
What time is early?
Bed. I do not want to disclose that information.
What time is the shuttle Exakick?
10:30 or like 11:30.
Did you really just ask him to rat his boy out? That's so messy. It's like 2 brothers. Mom goes to brother 1. No, we didn't do anything. No, he stole the cookies. Like, bro, you can't do them like that. You're just trying to break this team down.
Just checking the trust level here. Exakick broke it in an instant.
I mean, whatever. Gamer hours are different. Yeah. I'm not here to judge. Sucks that you can't sleep though, dude. That's really annoying.
Is it because you're playing Champions Queue to like 2?
I don't know. It's just, I think in my off season, I just have like sleep to like 3 or 4 every night. Like I go to sleep at that, and then my brain is kind of just has that habit, and it's hard to break. At the same in Excel, I was waking up like a little bit too late, probably for what was good. So it feels like it's like wired into my brain at this point almost. But for like the habits, I mean, I've discovered it over my career, right? I was making the same mistakes. Like I remember playing in Spain, and I was like, oh, I would chug like a full monster before my game because I thought it would be really good. And then at the same thing as Exa, full caffeine overdose. I was like sitting there, my hands were shaking. Like, yeah. So I've made my mistakes in the past, and now I kind of know what works for me.
Yeah, it's good.
I can't say I've ever been through that phase, but it just sounds like...
What are you talking about, bro? This is great.
Yeah, no, I know. I've never overdosed on caffeine yet, but it sounds...
Okay,
scary.
overdose is such a strong word. But you can have too much caffeine for sure.
Yeah, like take too much, I think.
Yeah, I used to work before esports. I used to work at this like horrible shoe store called Payless, and the only way I could get through a shift was just chain drinking energy drinks. And my manager would just look at me, and I would visibly shake. And he's like, "Do you need to go to the hospital?" I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm great. I'm here to sell some shoes. Look at these kicks. They're cheap and bad, but I have to tell you they're good." Like, yeah. So I feel you. It's there's such a thing as too much.
But you were a barista as well.
Yeah, the barista times, but that was different because when you start work at 4 a.m, you just drink 6 shots of espresso, and that becomes your new normal, and you build up a tolerance. And it's
6 shots of espresso.
Yeah, I stopped. I
That's
left.
nuts.
I took a vacation once because I worked coffee shop, right? I took a vacation, and I didn't have coffee for 2 days.
That's
I had
full.
full fever symptoms. I thought I was dying.
Never do that.
Yeah, I was
Never
like,
go to 100 to 0. You need to.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's just coffee, but it sounds like we're talking about
really?
like.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like that.
Yep. And then a
Damn.
friend of mine got me a tea, and I was like, "Oh, wait, I'm better. It's all good."
Yeah. Get a bit of
Easy
caffeine in
peasy.
you.
That's how it goes.
Interesting. Wow.
But focusing in, so Heretic series, no routine, playing from home. It was
Bad.
sloppy, but you got there.
Yeah.
Vitality series, they got some leads game 1 against you guys early game, but you guys just kind of pulled it through. Obviously, you had a pretty standout performance. You had some great moments as well. How did you guys feel about that Vitality series? Because this is where I thought the like dream run would stop for you.
Yep.
Certainly, I thought this was the point. Like, all right, you guys are great. You can make top 6. Still a good achievement. Still something to be proud of for a new team. But then you kind of just smashed
Game
them.
2, you
Game
slapped
2, you
them around.
slapped them.
I
Game 1
mean,
was a comeback. Game
I-
2, you slapped
I
them.
feel like you overhyped game 1 a bit. It was the exact same as RPS Heretics game. We just completely sprinted it in early. We were like 7K
7K
down.
behind. You group
And
mid.
then, we figure something out. The team fight a little bit better, and then we win, right? But I mean, I was still not happy after game 1 against Vitality. And then game 2, finally. 4th game, we win early game, and the game is complete stump. Feels so good.
How
to
do you
play.
make these comebacks happen? Like
It's
You-
macro, I think.
from the
No.
outside.
I think
It's macro. He gives you this option. You can just slam dunk. Yeah, we're a great
I mean, they
macro
are
team.
in
You're
team.
like, nah.
They are to every comeback. I think the enemy team is always like
yes.
in fault, right?
So you think it's their mistake that allows
I
you to
think
get
they
back
could
in?
play so much faster. Like they were so much stronger on every role that they could just take everything in our face and we could not do anything.
I mean, if we had this like deficit against G2, or even like I would say like Koi, we would get stumped instantly. It's just that the teams are not good enough to close out games. And we have like Zeri Lulu Maokai, Zeri Lulu Vi, Zeri Lulu something. It was Zeri Lulu. And then you just team fight better. and you
I'm
win.
noticing you're saying one champion a lot there. There's
I mean,
this
we had it in all
Zeri
3 games.
champion.
Yeah, scaling.
I'm kind of good. Oh,
So
is
you're
it
just
broken?
you're just kind of sitting there scaling, and eventually you get to a break point because they haven't accelerated the game fast enough,
mean,
and
we
you
can-
just fight mid.
We can win 3 games by falling behind like 6 to 8K in the early game. It's like teams are not good enough to close out the lead, and then Zeri Lulu is just OP in team fights, right? Later
Yeah,
on.
that
We
makes
just win.
sense. So you think like the top teams are just going to steamroll it?
If we play like that, yeah,
So
absolutely.
there's not many teams in Europe that know how to close out games.
No.
Would you say that your team is good at closing out games?
No. I mean, better than I would. I mean, I think our early game is worse than most teams.
Yeah.
And then our mid game is better,
Mm.
which has caused us to like fall behind early and then win mid game, right?
Is it
But
the,
I think if we get ahead, we can clean out closely.
so is it like the scaling? So obviously the scaling picks, or like having the Zeri, having these strong team fight picks, is what lets you mount the comeback. Is closing it out just that those champions are also just stronger at that point, and it's just like easier to close out the game? Or do you guys actually feel like you have pretty solid late game macro? Because it sounds like you're not super proud of it, but like how good is it?
I would say it's just pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I think we are pretty aware of what we want to do in the mid game.
Yeah.
I think more aware than other teams. And I
Yeah.
also think, I think our biggest strength is actually like team fighting. I think we're just out team fighting these teams, picking like better fights and having better positioning. And I think that's what's causing us to win a lot of these games.
Yeah. What would you, just for the people at home, just a little bit, an in-game touch, when it comes to like closing out games and a team has a lead, there's many ways that teams can do it. And I think that when a team doesn't, they slow the game down. They don't really force too many things. Their only real win condition for a slow team is like a Dragon Soul, I think, is like the easy way out. is it come down to like Baron forces, Baron turns, like getting the small wins of like TPs and then overforcing and
I think it's waves. When you on waves, when you shot call what you want to do on this wave, it sounds easier.
So you like ping a wave and you're like, okay, we're gonna move into this and try to hit this tier 2.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna group up and look for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think what a team like G2 does, like every like player on that team just pushes their advantage to the max, and then it's completely unplayable. And then they will just take Nash at some point because your whole map is falling apart and you lose. But against teams like, I mean, Vitality, they weren't pressuring us enough from ahead, and then they just flipped the Nash and we got the Nash and then we made a comeback, right? So
yeah. They were playing too scared. They should have like kept pushing those lanes
you
in.
can push it a lot
keep
more
getting
in my mind.
further and further and further. And obviously there's a disadvantage to that in the case that you can overextend and die.
Yeah.
But knowing that balance between like life and death is how you make sure the game is done and dusted.
I mean, that's how I think G2 just closes out every game in like 22 minutes. They just push every advance to the max and they don't mess it up.
And you think they're the best team in Europe right now?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we saw like going away from your series, and we'll talk about your upcoming series versus Mad shortly, but looking at that G2 Koi series from last weekend, it was... So it sounds from like what we were talking about, the G2 and Koi feel like are clear top 2 teams because they're the teams that can actually threaten, can actually close the game. But what do you guys feel like was like ultimately the reason that G2 was able to do so, for the most part, so confidently win that series? Is it just like what you're talking about, that they press their advantage so hard? What does that actually like look like in game? Is it that they're always willing to force fights? Are they outmaneuvering you? What are they actually doing in game that makes them so terrifying or that allowed them to beat Koi?
I think they just have good macro. Well, every laner like knows or like every player knows the limits very well in the mid game, especially.
Yeah.
So they know which waves they can push, and they can like they will try to 1v2 you for some waves that they know they can push that. And then I mean, once people start pushing every lane, you need to fight them somewhere, and G2 just picks the right fight at that point, and you just lose.
I saw Exakick, I saw you smile.
I mean, I think it starts in draft as well. Like actually screaming G2 is so annoying because you get flexed.
Everyone says this, don't they?
Like, they flex everything.
Yeah.
Cavs comes with a random pick on 4-5 that you never saw on mid lane ever. Like, you know, the Zach, for example.
Were you victims of the Zach in the early split?
Yes. And we were like, what are you doing, man? And he was not playing I think there was a scream where he didn't play a normal champ against Certus once, and we just lost.
Yeah, but the problem is that like he picks Zach, and then my mid laner doesn't even know what the champ does, you know? And the scrim is so hard because he's just getting screwed on mid. Yeah. Because he just doesn't know what the champ does. And also, I mean, it starts with draft, and then all the players are probably individually the best in Europe. I don't know about because there is Mark, right? But I don't wanna. Yeah. Well, I don't know how good he became, how he plays, or how he comes in game still. But in LDLC, he always knew what he wanted in game. Yeah. So if let's say you're gonna face G2, let's say you beat Mad, you beat Core, whatever it is. How do you play against a team like that? You think they're winning in draft? You think their early mid game's insane? They have these best players. What would you like approach? Not to give anything away if you ever do face them, but like, is it a focus on yourselves kind of thing? Try to be better, honestly. Like you need to first gap them individually and then gap them as a team. It's just you have to step up, Yeah, I think if you play to outskill G2 as well, you're just gonna suffer a bit. So I think you need to like kind of match them in the early game, and then we saw Fnatic do that. Mad tried to do it. In the 2-0 in their series, they tried to draft Zeri, Lulu, and then they just lost every mid game. There is a champion you should not give them. I won't say what champ, but G2. Yeah, interesting. There's a champion you should not give them. Interesting. We'll save it. Markoon probably has a different idea. I mean, I don't know. Just leak it. It's your opinion. No, I'm kidding. Don't leak it. No, I'm not sure actually. Yeah, no, but they're a tough team, right? Is it Nautilus? Start with a D. Draven. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. I forgot about that part of the series. Yeah. I think that was a mistake. I thought you were about to say some like really like crazy niche thing. I think it's it's Draven. Yeah. Who would have thought? It's the Draven. I don't know how they do it, but every time they play Draven though, enemy team fights them both like level 3-4. That's the Fnatic game. Yeah, the Fnatic game was like, there's no way this should ever happen. And then 3 more teams over the course of the year came bot and tried to 3v3 the Draven. This is the champ, honestly. You have, I mean, when there is a 3-way stack coming into you have to cover it, and then they just go on the jungler instead of the bot lane, or if you are not here, they dive you. Like there is so much pressure, and it's like G2. So you start, you see the stack, it's Draven, and then it's Hanshammer, and then it's G2. So you are like, I need help, It's like sucks you in. Yeah. It's almost like a magnet. Just you have so much pressure. I feel like, I think this champ is so OP for that because you can, if you are very good at it, you can shift your pressure to top side and set when they are coming bot side because you have a stack. You can play
around it so well if you are good at mind games, I feel like.
So that's like a little bit of smoke and mirror. So you're stacking this massive bot wave, your bot lane sweating, and then it's the reverse. They're actually just going to dive top and they're going to back on that wave.
Yeah, and then what's crazy is that this champ, if you just stack, your ult is going to execute at some point,
True.
And that's just broken. Like, you can get like 2k gold lead just from AFKing farming. That's what I did in Vitality because they had Leona. So I was like, I can't kill them bot. So just go Rakan for team fights because those...
You had Vi, Ari,
Yeah,
just like...
Doss is cracked on Rakan. And I'm like, I'm just going to farm. And at some point, I would just R someone and get my cash out and it's GG.
And do like 1k damage.
Yeah. Like, it's actually broken.
Damn. Because I knew, like, I obviously know how strong Draven can be and how quickly he can accelerate games, but I really like that pressure point. It kind of reminds me of, like, when Renekton Elise or Renekton Italy was really popular, and kind of, like, the threat of that dive felt so guaranteed when you stacked a wave that people had to respond to it. But it's like Draven just does that by himself. You don't need a combo. You don't need shit. And just Draven generates all that pressure. But if you're good at it, obviously, you need to be that level of player. But
I don't think it's hard. You just need to catch your axes.
Just catch your axes straight.
Just catch your forehead,
Should
bro.
we play bot? You just catch the
I'll
axes.
just catch the axes,
And
bro.
then
That's
we'll
right.
bot.
Yeah,
It'll just be insane.
That's true. What I've learned is you just have to press your B button.
Press your B button.
You just have to worry about waves and catch your axes, and I can be an LEC level.
What do we do about our awards? Where do we place
Would
them?
you just place them somewhere?
Actually, that's a big
Don't
topic.
ask him. He doesn't know either.
I have no clue, but I think playing against Malrang, that's the thing I learned the most. That wards are actually broken in game.
Malrang's taught you how to ward.
Yeah, like good junglers will always abuse wards, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like if you track enemy wards, you can do so much in the game.
Yeah. The beauty I've learned is like when I started coming to LEC as jungler, it's like fake warding.
Yep.
It's like, you hover in a bush and come out and then they're like, yeah, it's warded there. But it's actually not.
Actually, I have a fun story about this in streams.
Okay.
I don't know which team it was, but they had a ward in the bush and I say, I'm fake warding. Then I know I fake ward and I just get ganked. I'm like, and they're flipping out. And then Sweeper and he's like, but they have a ward. So.
Yeah, so you thought they were just flipping a gank on you because you thought that they thought it was warded because you fake warded, but it was actually warded in the bush. So it's like, it's just mind games, isn't it?
I think laners just don't use their brain enough for wards. I think they're like, I'll just place my ward in a random place somewhere.
Bro, they have to last hit. You don't understand.
They
It's
don't
like
coordinate
60%
it.
of your brain capacity goes to last hitting.
And then they get ganked, and then it's like, jungle diff, what could I do? Nothing.
You're such a jungler, Markoon. I just want to say that. You're such a jungler.
Laners just annoy me sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the same boat back in the days. Just ward better, you fucking idiot. Like, you can't dive these ganks. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Every time maybe jungler gets a good gank, you're like, it's a bad gank. It just only works because you're bad.
Just laner
Every
diff,
time you get a good gank, it's like jungle diff.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic.
I think that's literally every role, though.
Yeah. Every role.
Every role just has some copium ass angle of like why they're always right and why everyone else is always wrong. It just sucks for junglers because
They're always wrong.
90% of other laners' reasons as to why they messed up is they're wrong. If you play bot, maybe it's your support's fault,
Jungle
your
diff.
AD's
Jungle
fault.
diff. Yeah, it's jungle diff.
jungle diff.
But yeah, I think the one thing that makes me think of jungle diff is like the G2 series, not to bring us too far back, but like just seeing Caps gank bot level 2 and level 3 when you're playing like Caitlyn lanes, it's like mid diff, that's mid diff. That's not fair.
That Jason Arise looks not fun.
So yeah, that looks a bit scary.
Mad Lions, your first series coming up. I also have some thoughts on Koi if you can make it that far. But Mad Lions, how do you guys feel about this matchup? Obviously, you guys haven't had the chance to be in the best of quite yet. But
I mean, for me, I think Niski and Ayoya have been really smurfing it this season. I think they've gone a little bit under the radar, but I think they've been like quietly one of the best 2v2s in the league. So I think you need to shut that down a little bit. You can't just let them run over you on the entire map because I think they will then just snowball the game. But for me, they've been a very standard team as well. I think they just picked mostly team fighting and scaling. So I think it will come down mostly to team fights.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't think Niski was that good, actually. I mean, I didn't believe he was that good, Not that he was bad, but after screaming against him and like playing competitive, this guy is very, very good about playing with tempo and stuff, like just being and also I think being a leader in game. When I listen to their comps, I think he's very, very good. I think Yoya, I've always been considered the best jungler probably in the league. I don't know if he's still, but
he's always been top. Like, I mean, it depends on like Malrang has obviously found more success, but
you would say so.
But
he's always been considered good.
I think Chasey is doing fantastic. He was coming in as a rookie. I think in ERL he was not doing so well. Maybe it was team gap. I don't know. But now he's doing good in LEC, and their bot lane, Karzi and Ilisang, they're just...
How do you feel about the 2v2?
Is it the psycho word that we're going to use here?
I mean, I don't know. It's like so different from scrims to official. Like they are not the same bot lane.
So they're like monster inting, like perma trading, and then they go on stage and it's...
Yeah. I mean, not to flame them because I like them a lot, but it's just that they are not the same person, you know? Like, I don't know how you can be that different between scrims and official.
Yeah.
But I think they are good. If they are here, like, they deserve it, right? So I'm excited to play a 2-lane against them.
They're testing limits.
Yeah, I mean, especially
but when we say testing, they are definitely.
Hylissang's been looking for those limits for years. He still has not found them, dude. He's trying to find the limit.
10 years time, he'll find the formula.
It's like a needle in a haystack, this limit that he's been searching for.
And also, like, you know, in their coaching staff, there is Zef. I don't know if you know him, but he's their assistant coach now, and he was my head coach in LDSC. So, and he said, I think he said in the French broadcast after they win against Astralis,
yeah.
He said that he knew me and Doss very well, and that we were very predictable.
So it's time to show him how much you've changed.
Yeah. He doesn't know that you've learned about tempo and pressing the B button. You got him.
I would say now I have a good coach. No, not
now you have a good coach.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play this series.
I mean, it doesn't look good for him when you say your biggest lessons this season are tempo and pressing the B button, and he was not able to instill that in you. I know you're not blaming. I'm just kidding.
Plus, you have a new coach now who's taught you all about how to play bot lane better. So
yeah, I mean, he was kind of alone. Not alone. We had two coaches, but it was different. Like now, there is like Swiffer for top side. I feel like.
Yeah.
And there is David for the owner for our bot side. Mm-hmm. So we have like a coach for ourselves, kinda in bot. So it's good.
Actually, I think I just have Swiffer for myself, and we just talk about jungle pathing after every scrim game.
Yeah.
And then I think Owner is doing most of like the laner stuff.
I was mind blown with jungle passing.
You were mind blown?
Yeah, like you can do
raptors
into wolves, into
Wait, you can get level 3 with Gromp?
It was like 3 days ago.
3 days ago?
We're watching a review, and my top lane irrelevant, I'm gonna go Joel. It's like he's reviewing the game, and it was when Bo did 3 camps, went top, then based, and he went top again. And at that point in the meta, he asked me, wait, do junglers just not have to farm anymore? What's going on? He was completely mind blown. We've been a full season in, and this is the moment he realized.
The junglers can do 3 camps and run the whole map for 5 minutes.
And maybe realized that maybe laners are not completely aware of what like junglers are doing.
So did you sit down and be like, look, this is Gromp, this is Blue, this is Wolves, level 3.
No, he was like interviewing me. He's like, so he did 3 camps here? Does he have to go bot now? And I say, no, he can just go top again. And he's... So he doesn't have to farm? No, Joel, he doesn't have to farm.
I think it's so insane what you can do with your camps. You can do 3 camps, so then you can play. They both respawn level 2 on each side, so then you can play either for top or for bot. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But this is the thing I think is that every time you interview, what we should start doing is interviewing pros about roles that are not their roles. Because if I were to interview you, you'd be like, yeah, it's jungle. You just do what you do. You know what I mean? Because to you, it's not special or interesting because you do this shit every day. But you just learned about it, so you're like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's why I play jungle in solo queue. Like, I just queue AD jungle and I just play Maokai and Caedrel every game. And I just...
That sounds fun.
and I go to blue item and I'm like, oh my god, I'm running so fast in the bush. It's so fun.
You queue up AD and just pick Draven and be like, look at my X's, I can catch them. You're like, wait.
I play top lane. I play Jay's top lane. I die to every
oh
gank.
My god, I've been through that as well. That phase of just seeing ranged top laners get like a 10 CS lead and looking like Chads and hitting your tower. And it's like, I'm going to do the same. And you die 10 times every gank and you're like, I still look cool.
I've got that sweet Jace skin, and I can jump in. I can push 6 buttons really close to each other and pretend like I've got mechanics.
Jace top was my off roll as well as a jungler.
Yeah.
I think I think Selfmade likes to play like things like Akali. Every jungler has like a psycho champ they just play in an off roll.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hypocrite when I play top lane now, because if I do get ganked and my jungler's not there, it is a jungle diff. There's nothing I can do.
We won't tell Joel. Don't worry. Just don't tell him. Just don't let him know.
Oh my god. Love it. Love it.
Mad Lions, I want to skip ahead. Now, ultimately, I think this could be a very close series, and I think Niski and Yo-Yo are a terrifying kind of threat, and I think it's cool that you guys highlight them as such. I think they're looking pretty scary. And outside of the G2 series, where draft was a little bit of a draft iffy, definitely gave away the Draven, mid game fell apart. They are still looking like a pretty terrifying team. But looking ahead to Koi, there was this fun tweet chain. Love Twitter. Coach Mephisto of Vitality. It's so easy to read Malrang in early game. If you win trades mid lane, he'll gank you. Lose trades, he'll gank you. The tweet goes on. TLDR, Malrang ganks you. Our friend Nuke Duck, now coach of 100 Thieves, former teammate of yours, said, did you expose him yet, Markoon Law? And you said, soon he'll be figured out. Is there a background here? Have you figured out Malrang?
It's a bit of an inside joke, because in XL, when Malrang was like first coming onto the scene, right, he was destroying everyone, playing like full ganking junglers in a farming meta. And I couldn't really handle it. My brain was exploding a bit. So I was coping and I was telling my laners, don't worry, he'll be figured out soon. Soon he'll be figured out. But
you were not. The entire league was coping. We were coping.
We were all coping.
Every episode of EUphoria, we're like, but next week,
The ward.
someone's gonna get
someone's
him.
gonna ward. You're gonna kill him level 3. But yeah, no. And then, he's been doing it for 1 year now and now again. So yeah, soon he'll be figured out.
I'll
soon.
never forget one pathing Malrang did. He was playing Hecarim. He got invaded on blue side on his red, late invaded. He lost his bot side. He ran to Wolves, did Wolves blue Gromp, and then ran back down and ganked bot through lane and got a double kill.
Yeah.
This was, when I saw
shouldn't be
this,
allowed.
I was
Sounds about
like,
right, yeah.
what?
Do you
Like, it's
remember-
a split map almost, and he doesn't even go to top side.
Yeah.
He just runs back through his own jungle, and it worked. And I'm like,
I still
anything is
remember. I
possible.
don't remember who they were playing against, but it was LeBlanc Ezreal on the enemy team, and you said, you can never play Jarvan here. It is the most unplayable thing I
remember
have
that.
ever seen.
He picked Jarvan into LeBlanc, Ezreal, Rakan.
Yeah, you're like, this has to be the worst pick ever. There's no way this will work. And then we had to spend the entire cast with you being like, well, I guess it works.
Can you imagine playing Jarvan into LeBlanc, Ezreal, Rakan? And he still makes it work.
Malrang blows my mind a lot, yeah.
But, I mean, if you guys do make it that far, have you figured him out yet? Are you ready?
I figured him out now. I tell my laners to not die to ganks and then we'll win.
Look at this wisdom.
I'm very
back.
curious.
Don't die to
like,
gank.
I don't know if it's him calling in the ganks or if it's the laners calling him. You know,
No, it's him. I
I
think
always
it's
wanted
him.
to know because how does he see it? You know,
I think Malrang is the best jungler at like tracking vision. And I think he's
Yeah.
the best at dodging the vision.
Yeah.
So that's why every laner can't handle him. They just he dodges his vision.
he learned
and
it
they
from
die.
Canyon.
And he has
Ooh,
the
I like that.
He was-
good,
he was
good
in
narrative.
academy, no?
Good narrative, yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah. That's good. We'll steal that.
Because
Yeah,
Canyon
yeah,
is so good at playing in especially the
Yeah.
Kane game. When I was watching
Worlds.
Oh, the Kane
I
game
was,
was
I
Gen
was, I was mind blown by
that
it.
Kane game was sick.
I was like, is he hacking?
Canyon
Does
is, I think one of Canyon's biggest strengths is like he knows where vision is really well. And
Yeah.
you'll see him like, not only just in the early game find ganks that aren't really possible in a Malrang sense, but also in like the mid to late game, he'll like flank you on the most random champions. I remember there was a game against T1 where he like on blue side stood in the Raptors entrance bush on red side and he waited there for like a minute and then like EQ'd 3 people out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, the Jarvan.
On Jarvan, yeah.
Yeah.
And on the Sejuani, he flanked already the split. He ran through all the jungle. He's done it on Kane. Like, he does it in the early game, but in the mid to late game, he'll do the same thing. And I think Malrang tries it. I remember at Worlds when he was playing Lee Sin. He was,
Yep.
and even in that series, I think it was against Fnatic, he had like this insane Lee Sin kick on Humanoid's Corki from top side of Nash. He finds also these crazy angles. So I think it's probably attributed to being behind Canyon for over a year.
I mean, it's also special in his builds and runes as well. This guy.
Conqueror Sejuani.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
noticed, he cannot build meta. It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't know why.
He
Like
just
maybe
won't.
he has.
It has to be different.
Yeah, he's got that. He's like power of evil, but for Korean junglers.
What do we-
he just
what-
has to build weird stuff.
What do you think of the Conqueror Sejuani?
I was thinking it's a misclick or something. I was really unsure.
And
I
then he
don't know.
solo-
solo
It's like
killed. He
Fleet or something?
soloed the Lilia, bro. It
I
must
was
be
really
right.
confused.
It was against Nautilus, Lilia, Olaf. It's like,
Yeah,
I guess against tanks, like Nidalee Conqueror against tanks.
I would go like face rush against
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
that's-
yeah.
That seems like it would make more sense.
He just wanted some damage and then he popped off, so must be good, right?
He had Conqueror, cheap shot, last stand. Last stand. I mean, it makes sense. Bonus damage from last stand. That
Sure,
game's
why not?
68 bonus damage.
He saw Ignar take
68.
Fervor of Battle on Leona in like 2017 or whatever, and his entire life has just been waiting for his
Nah,
moment
but
to
then-
take Fervor
Yeah, he
of
locks
Battle.
his little Lee Sin. He goes Umbral Glaive into like
Yeah.
tank mid phase.
into what was it, Chem Tank, I think he
Yeah,
did.
Chem Tank,
At
yeah.
Worlds against JDG, he played 2 leasing games, electrocute Chem Tank.
Yeah, it has to go electrocute as well because
He's such a
why
legend.
not?
I'll never understand it, but it works.
Yeah.
All right. So shout out to Malrang,
Shout out to
obviously.
Malrang.
Like in credit, I'm really glad that you highlighted like playing around vision because I think that it's so easy to get caught up in the meme of Malrang and just the gank that people will
Yeah.
forget that he's actually like very good at things and that he's good at what he does.
That's what I realized at some point as well. I mean, I was coping for like a full split, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, he just broke me. I had to accept that what this
Yeah.
guy was doing was good.
Yeah.
I actually like tried to learn a little bit from him, like maybe my camps are not that
Yeah.
important. You
The-
can like also gank a bit more.
The last thing I'll say about Malrang is there was a clip in Champions Queue last week where I don't know which top laner it was, but he was like, "Where are you playing for, Malrang?" He's like, I'm going bot side." And then he was like, "Yeah, but I need to fight top." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "Will you come top and help me?" He goes, "No, you fight alone." That was such an epic clip. That's just Malrang in a nutshell.
like it.
Also about Koi, I think their bot lane stepped up a lot.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
They came back to their normal level. When they played against us in BO1, I felt like I don't know, it was not them kinda. Like I didn't expect to 2v2 kill Koi bot lane.
Yeah.
And I think it was
Yeah.
more
They were
them-
kind of their
neither.
regular season was rough.
Yeah, it was more them underperforming than us playing good.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt good, but I think I was like a lot overhyped, especially like this week was just weird. Like, I feel like enemy teams were just not playing good, and we went 3-0, but we were not like smurfing on them. Felt like they were just...
In the second week?
Yeah.
I also think we had like really good drafts that week.
Yeah.
We were first on the Elise, got 2 Elise games, really good meta.
Yeah, I remember that game. You had the Lucian Nami, didn't you, against the...
Lucian Yumi into Ezreal Nami.
That was it, yeah.
I think it was just weird, and I'm happy that...
Oh yeah, the Ezreal Nami was rough.
Yeah, but then when you played against them, it was
Ashe,
like
Ezreal. They were drafting some weird stuff.
Was it against the Heimerdinger lane?
I don't remember. It was not good. It did not do anything.
It was against Vitality, I think. No,
it was before Ashe
BDS.
was like objectively, clearly number 1 in meta.
Yeah,
she was, but people weren't using her.
Your guys' series against Koi, Silas. Thoughts?
Sadness. That series was sadness.
For context, enemy teams. Larson played Silas, and Markoon may have played the sad mummy. Who was sad
there
that
were
game.
some questionable draft decisions as well, but also some in-game decisions that were questionable.
Yeah.
I think we could win those games. We were just boosted on the team.
I think we had the same problem we had against Heretics and Vitality game 1. Our early games are just not good enough.
Yeah.
They punished it. I mean, Malrang punishes that really well, right? So.
I think I played bad the Caitlyn game, my first waves, and then I ward bad, and then I just die, you know?
Yeah.
I just get punished, and then we review, and I'm like, oh, I'm just
need to ward better.
Actually, after the series, I was like, we can't win, we can't do anything. And then we review, and I'm like, we are so boosted.
Yeah.
There is so much room for improvement, you know? I was actually mind blown.
That's a good thing, though.
I mean, you can't, those series, you can't review them with players right after, because there is like the ego.
Yeah.
I feel like barrier, you know?
I reviewed it with Swiffer.
I mean, for me, it's hard. Like,
you just seem so like emotionally, like I don't know. Nothing phases you.
I've been really vibing this split. Like I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling very little pressure. I'm just kind of chilling along, chugging along.
Yeah.
But I need my time off. You know, I need to like take a break and then I can review. But right after, I'm very emotional and I don't want to talk about the games.
But I think that's fine. Like, in my opinion, because I think a lot of people expect everybody to be like, there's a certain amount of who you are as a human being that is like, you don't need to worry about changing. As long as you communicate to other people, hey, I need 20 minutes, fine.
Yeah,
I think it's fine.
Everyone's different.
Because I think that, when we first started in esports early on, I think people like read a lot of coaching books and came in and be like, you have to be like this.
Yeah.
With like no flexibility.
Here's the Sun Tzu.
Oh my God.
Nah, they come from basketball or football or
or
something.
something.
Like physical sports, you know?
Physical sports. And they're like, you know what, this is like, you have to realize like, you guys did not grow up being coached every minute of your life. This is not the same structure. And also like, different people take things differently. Sometimes you just vibe and sometimes you need 20 minutes and that's fine.
You know those exercises that we did like when we say something we like about our teammates and we don't like? I think every time there was like a small problem in the team, we would communicate it. You know, like there was this debrief. I was very tilted and I didn't want to talk. And then Mitch came and asked me like how I behave like after games or something. What do I need? And then I just say it and then he knows. Yep. And for example, Joel, we know his limits as well. We know like each other limits kind of with everything.
Yep.
And so when we go past it once, we don't do it twice. And I think that's very good because we all know how to behave with each other.
Like banter and stuff.
Like with banter, you know?
When you cross a line.
You can push the limits a bit and then you cross the line once. And
I like that we like communicate about it.
Yeah, that's
before
very
it explodes.
Especially like when you have like a level head and you communicate, hey, this is what I need, this is what's probably going to happen, and I'm going to be in this state most likely, or this is when it's going to push me over the edge, just so you know?
Yeah.
And then once it's said and done. And you don't have to go through like hey, I want to talk to you after this game, and you're like, I'm a bit pissed off right now. Yeah, they already know. Just give you some space.
But that's why everyone liking each other, right, is really, in my mind, OP in esports. Because if everyone likes each other, talking about this kind of stuff is so much easier.
Yep.
Emotions, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. And you really there's a lot of groundwork that needs to come in. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode. And I think we talked about it previously when we had Swiffer on too. It's just, if you don't talk about it, it'll happen naturally, which is
kaboom.
It's a flip. It's always going to be a flip. I mean, it could be good. It could just you could just naturally vibe with people. You could be compatible in terms of how you want to receive feedback or how you want to talk about things or how much banter you think is acceptable.
Yeah.
But if you don't explicitly say it, people just don't know.
Yeah, looking back, I think that I've had a lot of like fights with people in players, especially, just like exploding after a moment, or like something goes wrong in the game. There's a quick pause and a bit of an argument. Have you had any, like, not to name names or stories, but have you been through those?
I was like that a bit more in Excel last year.
Yeah.
I thought that problems weren't being fixed like fast enough or like efficiently enough.
Yeah.
So it was just like building up, and then I would like explode a bit,
Yeah.
complain for
Let it out.
Yeah, let it out, vent a bit, and then reset, and then we'll do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, that's the classic. That's the one.
But that can make and break our team. Like sometimes you calm down and everything's fine again, or there's damage, and there's battle scars, and it's like trust is gone.
Yeah, but it's funny because usually it's like small problems that are like actually, if you talk about it, it's easily fixable. Yeah. But if you don't talk about it and don't fix them, they can really like build up and add up.
Yeah.
So at the start of this year, when we were talking about your team, we were looking at your team as more of a long-term project, more like, hey, let's see where they end up. Maybe we were thinking top 8. We had the same expectations as Exakick, not as you, Markoon. But now you guys are top 4, first season. So
crazy.
How does that affect looking forward now? Just forgetting this weekend for a quick second. When we look ahead towards spring split, when we look ahead towards end of the year, when we look ahead towards Worlds or MSI, like where do you feel like the goalpost is for SK?
For me, nothing has changed. I mean, I thought after bootcamp, like first 2 weeks of bootcamp, I thought we could win the split. Now it's still the same for me.
I like
that. Yeah, same. No, I mean, actually, I hate having expectations on me. Especially I had the good stats, blah blah blah. Seeing as a good AD,
okay,
and
but
I actually prefer.
Okay, but how do you know you had good stats? Is it because we said you had good stats, or is it because you looked up your own stats?
Like on Twitter, a lot of people were praising me after the games.
Yeah,
and it feels nice, but it added a lot of pressure on myself that I already put by myself. I'm very. How do you
self-critical?
Perfectionist. Yeah.
In everything I do.
Yeah.
I always want to do better, so I'm kinda never satisfied. Kinda.
Yeah. Dangerous.
So it's hard for me to have this pressure on me because if I lose, then I will feel very bad.
Yeah.
When we lost to Astralis, I was actually crying after the game because I was so tilted at myself that we lost this game when we were stomping that hard in bot. I don't like having expectations. It's nice, right? But I feel like, especially the enemy teams, they will try out more against us now as well.
Yep.
I think they were underestimating us a lot in games. But it's my example is like when you play against G2, you go 200% no matter what because they are gods.
Yep.
And when you go against SK week 2, you're like, they are 1-2, they are completely inting.
Yeah.
And then you give them a lease, and then they...
Yeah, now they will try out, and now people will have expectation on me to play good, and I have to meet those expectations, so I will work hard, right?
Yeah.
But I would prefer to be just a random and just play my game and be happy about my game,
But I think
it's easier.
Again, I like how open you are about this stuff, man, because I think a lot of people aren't doing it. And I think that this is one of the struggles of going from just playing well at home to playing on big stages. There's always going to be fans and people who have expectations of you. But if you're aware that like that's something you struggle with, like, and I'm sure your manager and you have people who are more qualified on a psychological level to talk about this, like, get off social, bro. It's all good. Like the people who love you because you are a player, not because you are interacting with them on social media. And if that's why they love you, because that's not what you're here for. You're not here to be Mr. Social Media Star, except for when sponsors are involved. Sorry. Retweet.
Okay, guys, can you retweet this real quick?
No shame. Sponsors are
Use
important.
a quote, please, not just retweet. Quote, retweet.
Esports is a business, and these are these things that are important. And like interacting with your fans is important when you have the space. But I guarantee you, every single SK fan, every single person who wants to see you succeed, if they knew that like you interacting with Twitter took even 2% out of your gameplay, they'd be like, "Oh, bro, just forget it.
Yeah,
just go back. Just like focus on your thing."
It's kind of random, like out of context, what I'm gonna say, but I like that. There is new fans for SK. I feel like this split, and I think it's kind of reward us for just being real, kind of.
Yeah.
Feel like, at least for myself, I'm just the same as in the office, kind of on stage.
Yeah.
And I think this is just nice that people recognize it. So yeah, just random thought, but
yeah,
I like it.
I heard the SK fan. Well, there was a lot of SK chants in like in the Vitality series, was it?
Yeah, it's all the Fnatic fans.
Yeah, it's all the cheering for SK. All the Fnatic fans. That's what I said. All the Fnatic fans are now come over to SK.
Because they were really loud Vitality fans, so the Fnatic fans were like, "Oh, we're fighting back."
Yeah, it was good. A nice little cheer. Could you hear them? Was there like the stage?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Actually, the crowd was really amazing last week. It was so loud.
When we log Zeri and we get booed, kinda.
Whoa!
But then you got the team fights and you get cheered.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the champs are so annoying, but we have no choice,
Yeah,
they are just broken.
You're jailed to the open.
And we PQ me and we get flamed. It's just broken, man.
Yeah,
but now it's not. God bless.
Yeah, I mean, I love those metas with melees as well. I think it's harder to play than range, actually. I think ranged lanes are, once you have the advantage, it's GG.
I think it's a bit different. I think melee is more about how you play on the map in early game.
Yeah.
Because you can like just put your Leona like top lane, who cares? But then like these ranged support matchups, like I feel like it's all about like bot lane. It's just all about bot lane.
It's all about wards level 1, position, how you manage your wave.
When the meta shifts and you're just left alone to farm under your tower for
I was doing that in
3
AJC,
months.
actually.
Yeah, I was like, we'll see how you feel about it then.
Europe historically has struggled with range supports a lot of the time. A lot of the international success of like the 2019, 2018 days, it was very like melee supports focused. Things like Lulu, Karma especially. EU teams would either mess up the waves, not get a big enough advantage and go even against like Chinese or Korean teams playing melee supports, and they wouldn't punish, or they would just get ganked and die to random stuff, or level 1 and get
like
hooked.
Malrang gank against us, when I'm playing Kate Lux.
Or like playing a lane into like Nautilus and getting hooked level 1 and losing the trade and getting pushed in, like things like this.
Vitality against Heretics?
Yeah, maybe. So European teams in general have just struggled with it all over. Even like
it's high stakes.
I think most supports we sent to Worlds and succeeded, like Hilly was never really a ranged support player.
No,
anyway.
I mean Hilly, you would never. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's had some great Zillion games. He was around for stupid Garen, whatever you want to say. But ultimately, the best versions of Hylissang we've ever seen, and the best versions of Mickey are on Engaged Champions.
Yeah, I think the 2020 Worlds Reckless Hilly was probably one of the best bots we've sent to an international, next to Perks Mickey. And that meta was Leona, Braum, Set, Rakan, and a little bit of Thresh, which I think is also an EU classic.
Yeah.
Thresh, my support is kind of good on Thresh.
I think Thresh is a trash champion, but good if you...
Yeah, I mean, right now maybe, you don't know. Maybe it's good.
Maybe it's good.
Maybe we're going to look it.
It's good when there's an 80 so OP Aphelios that you can give him an extra flash, and that's like literally it. I think this champion's
I'm good on Aphelios as well. So.
Don't get me wrong, I love Thresh. I think he has one of the coolest kits in the game, but it's like he doesn't do what a range support does, and he doesn't do what a melee support does. So if for some reason you need kind of mediocre both of those things, like great.
I mean, go play EU Thresh against LPL Karma or Lulu, and you can't lane after wave 3.
You can't lane. Impossible. I missed the Kai'Sa, Xayah, Yasuo, Gragas.
We memed it. We memed Kai'Sa Xayah at the time. We're like, wow, can't wait for another AD.
Yeah, now it's very Lucian.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's been like that for so long. I feel like in the past, when something was like really OP, Riot would just completely hammer it down.
Yeah.
But now, like, let's say Maokai, for example, right? Completely OP. And then they nerf it like in such a small way that it doesn't even matter. Like,
similar to like the Lucian base meta nerfs.
Like
it doesn't matter.
But bro, I feel for the balance team. Like, how do you take Maokai out of pro and not also make him unplayable for Johnny Bronzy, who has no idea?
Make him unplayable for Johnny Bronzy. Like, who cares about him?
You're like 0.0000001% of the player base,
damage
bro.
on Q or E does not matter for Johnny Bronzy because that guy's already up everything that he's doing. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just make the pro player at least playable, Like, they don't care.
Believe it or not, I think you might be a little biased in this area. Believe it or not.
No, don't worry about it.
You just hate
They're misplaying so hard anyway, the numbers don't matter.
But that's literally it, no?
Actually, I was mind blown when I was playing Maokai jungle, the damage on the Q, on the camps.
They change it,
It's crazy. I was
massive
like, wow,
percent HP.
400 damage.
Yeah, but like, just nerf it properly. Like, stop with this, like, 20 damage, yeah. No, just
they're figuring it. I think they're pretty good at the incremental nerfs from a holistic perspective, but I think it's hard. Like, I don't know enough to like speak confidently.
I mean, the
balance.
meta has been very balanced. I feel like you can actually play a lot if you want.
Yeah,
but I pref just like put the hammer down, get the champion out of the meta.
You're a quick fix kind of guy.
I mean,
walk into the office, boot up the PC, put the numbers in, and go home.
13.3. Okay, Maokai is gone. Like, whatever they did to Yuumi, they should do that to Maokai. That kind of nerfs.
I think the struggle is right. Like, by the time, and Freak has great videos on YouTube to talk about this kind of stuff. He's very open about it, which I think is sick. But it's like by the time they're ready for 13.4, no one in pro has played on 13.3 yet. Like, we're just now getting LPL, I think, today, this is the Wednesday when we're recording this on 13.3. You had LCK Challengers, a little bit of LCK on 13.3. Like, so they don't even know what the pro play implications of 13.3 are because no one's on the freaking patch yet. And then 13.4 is going to come out, and then they're gonna have to. It's like,
it's a hard job,
It's a hard job. That's all I'll say. It's like, don't get me wrong. I think you should always voice your opinion and be like critical if you think something's imbalanced. But like, that job sounds miserable.
The job is just there's no win. It's lose.
You can it's. I think you can. There are going to be wins. There are going to be good moments, but also just like it's really hard to make everybody happy. It's a never-ending job.
Yeah,
just remove Halo Blade support,
bro. Halo Blade.
I think with the
Ashe is so annoying.
Halo Blade.
That there is no counter.
I love for context. I love Pyke.
Was it you who played?
it's
Was it
fine.
you who played Bard Halo Blades?
Yeah, that was sick too. That was objectively bad, but there was a small period of time against like melee supports where it was like
I
sick.
swear I've seen it in pro play
And
as
I
well.
only say that with confidence because I asked a bunch of pro players because I was like, I need to tell people that Halo Blades is good. Can you tell me when it's good? It's like only into Tom Kench, and I was like, yes. I can justify it to my friends now when I lock it into my pleb games.
It doesn't feel right when there is a Kalista and Ashe on support.
No, I agree, and I think they are playing nerfs for that. Like I don't know the numbers or what it is.
sickle
Because you actually
nerfs.
can't trade back, into Kalista lane.
Yeah,
You just lose.
I think they're nerfing the sickle.
Nerfing the sickle income, I think. I don't know how they're nerfing it actually. Maybe it's just damage. I don't know. Anyway,
Also,
we'll find out.
As we're on patch, jungle experience. I've seen a lot of people complain about like jungle getting ahead, but being the same level. Have you felt that?
Yeah. I
What do you
mean,
think?
I don't care about it as too much as the people complaining. Like, for me, it's a bit weird, like, that you get ahead. But how I see it is, if you're ahead, you're ahead in gold, not in XP.
Yeah.
If you would be ahead in gold and XP, like, the game would just be unplayable, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what people want. Like, people want, if you're ahead early, that you just win the game instantly, which I don't mind as much as, like, you're a little bit more similar in XP. Although the XP in jungle is very weird right now. It's, I think, the catch-up XP or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's just, it's a bit messed up.
Yeah.
You can be like level 4 at minute 7, and then you take like one full clear, and now you're level 6, same level as enemy jungler that's just been farming.
Yeah, because you've just been sitting there ganking everyone.
Yeah, and then catch-up XP I think is a bit of a problem.
Agreed.
Dang.
Interesting.
All right. I don't know the numbers, so I won't talk about that too much. Wrapping up here, as we kind of hit a wide variety of topics towards the end. This is the final bracket. You said Markoon. I almost called you Malrang. That would have been really bad. Mark. There's two of you here.
Yeah, 2 marks.
Mark with a K.
Yeah, okay.
Mark with a
Nice.
C.
Mark with a K. Sick.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure. Maybe his normal name, Mark, is like
With a C.
with a C.
Maybe one day we'll find a mark with a C and a K.
Mm.
Marsk.
Marsk.
Anyway, sorry. Wow. Long podcast. Are you winning? Are you running the bracket?
No.
Yes, you have to say yes.
You
This is the
know
part
this-
where you go, you smart, you say yes,
Or
I
you say
believe
no,
that
and
if
you
we play
send like
good.
all the
You
expectations.
give us the sound bite for the videos. This is
Yeah,
the part where you give
that's
us the sound bite.
It's hard to say anything else, right? But yes,
And
I believe
action.
we can win. If
Wow.
we play well, we
I
will
believe
win.
that we can win. I believe that we can
I think we have what it takes, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think the hardest will be obviously G2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we have to meet them on each row and then as a team and then in draft and then not choke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it's finals. But I think first I want to play Matt and see if we win. And
Yep.
then get my revenge against Koi and then meet my sensei, in finals.
Meets your sensei.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, if stats don't lie, you are 1-0 against G2. This split.
True.
You're 100% win rate.
100%
We
winner.
cheesed.
Yeah.
That's what Miggy said, I think.
No, actually, we take that out of contest. I think Mickey will be really mad at
Was
me.
it the cheese because you're pathing?
Yeah.
Was it like
Yeah,
the
I
level 3
think so.
pathing bot side and then Yike just expecting
it's 'cause
No,
it-
it's because Elise wasn't in the meta yet, and we just picked Elise and level 3 dove bot, right? Which
Yeah.
wasn't considered meta at the time yet. I mean, I don't know exactly if they said they cheesed, because I think Broken Blade told me that they did not say that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I really want to play against Mickey as well again in the finals.
Yeah.
Good old Mickey.
Yeah, I don't want him to get like too cocky, Need to humble him a bit.
I mean, I think it's like for bot lanes, it's kind of. I'm trying to think who is better that is not in playoffs right now in bot lane. I think Kobe and Jungkoon are missing, kind of.
Yep.
They were very, very good
Yeah.
Mm.
and very nice as well. Jungkoon is the GOAT. But,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's kind of like a stare, I feel like, in level for bot lane. Like the best bot lane is in the final, and then there is Koi with Comp doing
Yeah.
pentakills just
I noticed
randomly.
that actually. I think the top 4 teams are the top 4 bot lanes,
Mm.
Every team that's full
No,
on.
don't say that to Mark.
Mm.
I wonder why.
It's gonna be so annoying.
They're like the bot lanes. They're still good bot lanes like Crowny and such, and like you said on Yongnun and Kobe. But like, I feel like the top 4 has the best bot lanes. I mean, it is a bot meta, right?
Yeah, I think
So
Mad
it
are
is.
probably the team that we've seen rely more on mid jungle
Yeah.
than other teams. Not that other teams haven't shown that they can, but Mad Lions, I think in terms of over performances, like you look at Mad Lions mid jungle more than most other teams.
Mm.
But not to discredit their bot lane, because I think you're right. When their bot lane's performing, they're really good. So, in a theoretical world where you lose to Mad Lions, who wins the split? Is it just G2
G2.
guaranteed? So if you guys can't beat G2, nobody can beat G2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are the chosen ones.
You're the chosen ones.
I think
Narrative.
And also,
narrative.
I want-
narrative.
the split counts like you are champion of Winter Split, right? It's not
Yep.
like just a random
Yep.
split.
If you win this split, you go to
I mean, I
MSI.
want Hans to get the title.
You're locked in MSI.
I want him to get a title finally.
Maybe spring though. Huh?
But you want the title more, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if I don't get it,
Good.
I mean, I would love him to get it over me, right? Because
Yeah.
I think he deserves it for 2 years.
Hans has never gotten a title.
Yes.
Ever.
I'm with you.
In
You're
Rogue,
so
he was
wholesome,
so
but
good.
I can see how your jungler gets tilted. You're like, yeah, I'd be happy with top 8. Yeah, I'd be happy if Hans got the title over me.
Yeah.
This guy was so good, like in Rogue, but he was always robbed the title. I feel like.
Yeah, he was.
Not to flame Carzy, but he was stomping Carzy so hard in every game.
Carzy didn't deserve the wins?
Oh my god!
Whoa.
The clickbait!
I mean,
Is
you
he
are playing
baiting
against.
it?
I mean, you are playing against Carzy this weekend.
No, but it's like
Got the spicy takes?
I don't know.
No, I ever played Carzy actually. It's perfect. Carzy didn't deserve
They were
2
playing
EU
the-
titles.
Mad was playing their Wukong thing, like Perma being behind and then winning a team fight.
Oh
I was
my
actually,
gosh.
I was actually
Wait,
as a
being
fanboy.
behind and winning a team fight?
What? Yeah, that's so cringe.
That's so
man.
cringe.
Why does that sound
Why is
familiar?
that? Who would do that?
Who goes
would
behind
draft
and wins
better
team
team
fights?
fighting picks? That's so
No,
crazy.
it's like
You
That
are
is
Carzy.
cringe.
I don't know. This guy Hansama so good for so long, never got a title.
Dodges the question.
So,
Yeah.
so I want him to win
No, he
a
did
title
good.
finally.
That was good
If I don't win,
conversational maneuvering to ignore the rage bait. Good rage bait, though. I like that.
I was trying to help you out.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You make the
yeah,
clickbait.
yeah,
You make the
yeah,
clickbait.
yeah.
You can
Already,
make
He's
the
going to be a
title.
caster next year. I can
Yeah,
see that
yeah,
in
he's
the next
locking
couple
it.
of years.
Well, let's give him 3 or 4.
Yeah,
You know,
also-
let's not get
20
too
guys, please. Give me a little bit longer
Retired
career.
after 24,
I mean,
so yeah.
if Yaikeru gets a title, actually, I would be happy for him as well.
Mark's just sitting right next to you. He wants
It's
a
been
title.
like this for a few months.
I mean,
though.
better jungler wins the title,
No,
am I
but
right?
I know this guy for 1 year, you know. So if he plays in MSI, I want to see him.
I hope that
If it's
over
not
the
me-
years to come, you hold on to this like what I think is a very wholesome attitude. It sounds very wholesome. And I like it.
I mean, on the Rift, I want to storm them, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I have ego, but outside, I don't mind. Like I think it's always the same with pros. Like we flame each other in solo queue, we hate each other, but when
We hate each other.
no, but like if you hate someone and you like just flame him and you say,
Yeah,
you're bad, and then you see him in real life and you're just like,
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah,
vibing.
it's like old days, 2014, 2015.
Maybe
if you
not,
said you're
yeah.
bad, what you would say in response is, "I'll beat the shit out of you at the next land."
Yeah,
And this happened oftentimes. Then you would meet at the land and
And
you
you
just
wouldn't
walk
do
past
anything.
each other.
yeah.
Now
it's
it's
so
now
cringe.
it's
This
more-
happened so
yeah,
many
I can't
times.
guarantee your safety at that.
I think in the day there was a lot of keyboard warriors back in the day,
Yeah.
and now I'm gonna give it the positive spin and say that it's more about like people understand that there's a separation between the Rift and real life.
No, Riot just bans you easily now. I think if I could type the way I could, like you can at the start of the
Did you see
season.
the warnings of Certus on Twitter? On
Like-
Twitter? Like you type, you get warnings for nothing now.
It's
No,
just
pro
right.
players haven't grown up. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
It's just you get banned easier. So everyone's just trying to mass
No,
everything.
Systems working as
literally. I think so, yeah.
But yeah, I think we are the chosen ones, and I think they said it. They said it as well. I watched their caps recap.
with caps.
BB
Cap.
said no, without.
Without
Caps
caps.
this time. BB said
You're
that he,
so good. Sponsors are gonna love you, bro. You even get the naming right. You're great.
I
Keep
mean,
it going.
Yeah, I mean, I just remember it right, and I think BB said that we will come to finals.
Ooh.
Or Yike said it, and then BB said on the PGL. I think it's like at the end of the day.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So I think
okay.
they want to play against us, kind of. I guess. I don't know why,
I
but
think so, yeah.
Revenge. They're
Prove
still
them
really
right.
mad
But
about
yeah.
that Elise game.
let's go. I want
Prove them
to.
right.
I want to prove myself against Hans as well because I think it's
Oh, yeah.
the final test.
Wow.
When upset is not
Look
here.
at
Is he your
snare,
final
he's just
boss, like
dropping
anime
it.
final
The
boss?
narrative.
Hansama?
Yeah, and if I win with Draven against him, that would be
That's the
best.
graphic.
great.
Oh, with
We need a
Draven
s-
as well.
We need a lower third anime final boss, Exakick versus Hansama.
Yeah.
And then
But don't get
maybe
me
some
wrong, I
sound-
think he's like 10 times better or 100 times better than me.
Like this is annoyingly humble.
Stop it.
No,
you
I
can't
think
say
so.
that. If you actually play him, this is not the clip that we're gonna show
No, but
people.
on the I would not have mercy on the Rift, you know?
Call him shit and tell him you're gonna stomp him.
No,
Yeah,
because that's
Markoon, what do
not
you think
true.
about Yike?
I actually think he's good.
God damn it!
You need to talk trash. Yeah, but I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, did you see the Sven drama with the trash? You
Yeah,
know, he
but
walks
that's like
past,
proper.
He
That's
walks
good.
past Yon, you know what he said? He was like, go back to academy. He didn't even shake his hand.
Oh yeah.
Bro, whatever.
Oh,
I
this
think
is-
that
this
there's
is
a
what I
certain-
like, this flair.
No, I don't think he said go back to academy. He said
No,
Really?
Yeah, I
Someone
think
in the
so.
bro,
Like,
comments
no
said
please don't like.
Oh,
Actually, I would never do that. I
someone in the
hope
comments
one
said
day.
the lip Reddit and it was that.
no, but
maybe it was-
Eon, like
Someone
how
in
do
the
you pronounce his
comments
name?
said they lip read it and we're going
It
on
had a lot
that.
of likes.
No,
It had a lot
this
of
is
likes.
like I don't know the whole
No.
situation. If you like shouldn't talk, I'm not trying to spread misinformation about Sven.
No,
I think
but
Bane-
it was just distasteful banter. No, like after they won a team fight, he's bantering. It's a
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
distasteful.
yeah, I agree.
Although I did, was it your, maybe it was your game. No, it was.
All right, you're having a good time.
Yeah,
but we're done.
Yeah.
Wait,
We're wrapping
do
up.
you see the
We're
old
wrapping
chat
up.
when you spectate?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
That's what I was going to
Because
mention.
I think in Vitality, Neon was bantering in the beginning. When I picked Draven,
Perks and Neon love
when I
to
picked
type it
Draven,
out,
he
so-
said like, "Oh, finally first Draven game," and then he does 4k damage. You know, like.
Yeah, but actually bantering with Perks is a lot of fun as well.
I mean, there is like when
Keep going.
Go, no.
I think on the
Phil, put up the schedule.
on the client, I was like saying,
Put up the schedule, Phil. Thank you.
See you on the Reast or something, and then he was like, yeah, I'm practicing Draven, and I'm like, oh, okay, sure, you can play it against me. And then there is like this path or like this passive with him with Draven, and then I just pick it on stage, and then he says like, finally first game Draven, and then I said yeah or something, and then we just stormed the game, so it was funny.
Yeah.
But I feel so bad when we win again for enemy teams. When we won against Fnatic, I felt so bad for
You're
them.
so empathetic, dude. This is unheard of.
No,
in
but then
esports.
I
This
saw
is
Rooks crying in
crazy.
backstage, and I was feeling so bad because I don't want to be them.
You don't want to be them.
Like,
don't
I
wanna be
don't
them,
want to be
yeah.
in their position, so I don't
Yeah.
want to.
That should fire you up and be
That's
like, I'm going to win
also,
more.
yeah, that's not good on you, dude. Like, you should care about how other people
You're so
feel. You
wholesome.
shouldn't let it affect you're so wholesome. It's
You should just, you
No,
should just,
but
you
like-
should just carry the
It's
enemies. You
annoying.
Every caster is going to be like, if you have a split where you suck, every caster is going to be like, I really don't want to say this because he's a nice guy, but Exakick is struggling. They're going to be like, oh, it's going to
No,
physically
it's
hurt
fair.
them because you're too wholesome, dude.
But I don't want to be in their shoes, you know. Like imagine Vitality, you have such high expectations from the fans,
But
and you
what you
just
should
lose to ASK.
It's when you knock them
No.
out, you carry them with you to the championship, you know? Like, you carry Rux on your back in the back of your mind, you know? It's like you've gone through this
Yeah,
tournament of
This is some
progression.
anime shit,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That is the most anime thing I've ever
This
heard.
is the storyline we need.
So just give him a quick vacation. That's
I mean,
it.
especially when I
We
know
got a
they're
graphic,
nice.
the anime battle. I see get Rux one on there, then we get Perks, and it's like if they beat Mad, we get Cars.
Yeah, it's the scene where like all the spirits of the people he's beaten,
Yeah.
like
And then he gets the spirit
give him
bomb
the
against
power.
Hansama,
No,
and
stop
then-
it. This is horrible. This
God,
is.
I should be a
I
scriptwriter.
love esports. No, you shouldn't. That's the script
This
of
is
like
amazing.
90% of the
That is
animes that
amazing.
exist.
We just need some
You and
AR,
every
AR
other
Super
dude.
Saiyan around him. Come on, good pitch.
Anyway, guys, this was a fantastic episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This was a long one.
Good luck on the Friday coming up. I'm excited. I hope
Thanks.
that you guys can meet your goals.
I just want to play in the studio, honestly.
yeah,
Like if I could play my solo queues in the studio, I would be so happy. Actually,
I think you
Like,
would.
it's so
I think you
fun.
would ruin the studio for
Yeah.
yourself, probably.
Yeah, but
I
it's
think
so-
it's
it's
special
so
because
fun.
it's special. I think you'd be just running the same situation. You'd ruin your own routine, dude. But
Yeah.
I like that you like it that much.
Just shaking with coffee on the stage.
Important to note, this is coming out on Thursday. It is not Saturday, Sunday, Monday this week. It is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It is three best of fives. What is today? Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday.
So
it's
tomorrow
tomorrow?
starts.
Oh,
So
I
it
keep
comes out
thinking it's
tomorrow.
Tuesday.
it's released tomorrow.
Yeah.
You guys are so fast.
Yeah. Shout out to Phil.
Smurfing actually.
Phil's our producer. Anyway, 17:30, 1800. You can read it on the graphic at the back there. But schedule normal, just Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now this is going to be massive. It's big. It's finals weekend.
Not playing at
G2,
6.
Koi. There's this huge gauntlet. SK versus Mad Lions. Can they make the run to the top? We'll find out this week. This has been the final episode of this season of Winter Season. We'll be back though. There's a week break. Then we come back for the start of spring. Excel and Fnatic will be back. I know you've missed them. We'll find out if we feel the same way, depending on what happens in this offseason.
Off-season rumors in a week's time. Transition,
Joy.
turnaround.
Oh! Anyway, this has been, episode 7. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys this weekend for the show, and then we'll be back for start of spring.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.